MovieLogger is a companion application to Final Cut Pro that provides a fast and easy way to log footage. So here I've got a QuickTime movie that was captured in Final Cut Pro, and I'm just going to drag it onto the MovieLogger icon. And while that's launching, let me just say that when we designed MovieLogger, we really wanted it to be as fast and simple to use as possible. And one of the ways that MovieLogger achieves this is by separating the keys used for marking in and out points, controlling playback, etc., from the regular keys used for entering text. What this means is that you can be in the middle of entering a text description and still be able to easily rewind, play, etc., which can be a challenge in many other logging applications. So let's start by running through the basics of the MovieLogger interface. On the left, we have the file name of the currently open movie. This button beside it opens the movie library for the current project, where you can import up to 16 movies and save them together as a MovieLogger project. In the center of the screen we've got the transport controls, as you'd expect, and above those is the scrub bar that you can use to instantly move to any point in the movie, just like Final Cut Pro does. If I move the mouse into the lower half of the viewer, it becomes a shuttle control, so I can drag to the right to shuttle forwards and drag to the left to shuttle backwards. Also, dragging on the upper half of the viewer allows jogging through the footage frame by frame for finer control. And on top of that, there's also full JKL control, so you can do JKL for shuttling and going slow, etc., as you'd expect. Over on the far right is the current timecode display, which toggles to show the real number if you click it, and then back to timecode again. Down on the lower left of the MovieLogger window is the log entry and editing area, and on the lower right we find the log list, where existing logs are shown and managed. So let's make a first log. I'm going to move just back to near the front of the movie and go into playback. Now I'm going to use the keyboard shortcuts quite a lot for speed, but all these commands have an on-screen button that you can use if you prefer. So I'm going to go into playback and then mark an in point by pressing Ctrl I. And I'm going to type in yellow boat as a description. Notice how I can type that in even while playback is going. Now notice when I marked the in point that it's shown as a solid orange diamond on the time strip below the viewer. The white triangle here is the playhead, and the movie is scrolling to the left on the time strip as it plays. You can zoom this time strip by dragging on this icon, left or right, and if I zoom fully out we can see the entire duration of the movie here, and here's my marked in point. You can also zoom the time strip by using Command plus and Command minus keyboard shortcuts, just like zooming in Final Cut Pro. So let's just move back to the current in point again. I'll go back into play again, and I'm going to mark an out point by pressing Ctrl O. And now we've got description, we've got an in point, got an out point. We can save this log by pressing Ctrl Return, and it appears in the log list on the right. Let's make a second log, and I'm just going to mark this one on the fly. Now one of the really handy features in MovieLogger is that if you miss something and want to quickly jump back, then pressing Ctrl B will jump back and go into playback. So it jumps 5 seconds back, and I can hit Ctrl I and type cream and green boat. I'm not going to bother entering an out point this time because that's actually optional, so I'll just press Ctrl, Return, and save that second log. And that now appears in the log list. Now that I've got a couple of logs in the list, if I click on the log, then the movie gets located to the in point. And if a log has an out point marked, like this one, the first one, then you get the duration shown in this area here. And it's also possible to play between the in and the out points by using this button or pressing Ctrl P. So the movie will stop when it hits the out point. MovieLogger also has a quick log feature for instant creation of logs without having to enter a full description. So if I zip down to the end where we have these shots here and go into play, then pressing Ctrl U will instantly add the current frame as a quick log, and down here we see it in the log list and it says no log description. So that's really good if you just want to quickly mark a point that you might want to come back to, but you don't want to bother writing a log description for that. Now, all these logs in the log list can be edited simply by double clicking on them, and I can change this from no log description to seagulls, and then press Ctrl Return again to update that log in the list. So now we've got 3 logs in this movie. Let's do an export. So I'll go to File, go to Export. I'm going to choose to export both a text file and a Final Cut Pro XML file here. Press Export. I'll choose my desktop as the destination. And if I show desktop, you'll see that we've got an XML file here. If I just double click the XML file, this opens into Final Cut Pro. So here's our source clip. And these 3 logs that we made in MovieLogger are now onto the clip and shown as markers. I can jump between these 3 markers that we made. The other thing that MovieLogger can export is an RTF rich text format file. So if I double click this, it will open in Microsoft Word, and what we get is something we could then print out. So we have the in time code on the left, we have a duration in brackets if an out point is marked for that log, and we have text description on the right. So that's MovieLogger from Digital Heaven.